Hello, welcome to today's Studio Army Review. We're going to continue our look at the Exodite Codex built from the Tyranid Codex. I call it my Dragonmasters. And today we're looking again at more of the units that have the instinctive behavior rule, which are the indigenous creatures of my Exodite world, or maiden world, Lorien. Okay, what you see in front of you is a pair of small Triceratops. Again, these are from Coruscant Miniatures. There's a link to their site below. These are representing the Tyrant Guard units. I figured it would be good to have the Tyrant Guard, which represents the dinosaurs who would basically defend or step in the way and basically become the lookouts or experts for the Tyranid. Normally it'd be a Tyranid tyrant, a hive tyrant, but in this case it'll be my dragons and drakes and Tyranid prime or whatever you have. So anyway, since the drakes and great worms are not characters, not independent characters, they can just be characters, they can't really join your unit except for the Tyrant Guard unit. So, and of course then they become part of that unit until the Tyrant Guard are killed off. So the Tyrant Guard have a pretty substantial baseline or stat line, and I think it's actually really does a good job with Triceratops mashing with them, because my weapon skill is 5, and I'm figuring that could be either as a result of the Drake's hive mind or the dragon mind manipulation, or just the fact that if you're going to survive being a prey source for many predators out there, you're going to get good at using those horns. So I decided Triceratops is pretty good. It's strength 5, toughness 6, 2 wounds, so they're on a 40mm base, so they're bulky, they're bigger, and they can absorb more damage. They start with a base of 2 attacks, but since they have 2 weapon sets, rending claws and sighting talons to come with it, those are it gets 3 attacks, just base, so 4 on the charge. I like to typically go, since we're dealing with a Triceratops here, I like to go with the upgrade crushing claws to kind of represent its mouth. So it has sighting talons still, or rending claws. Its horns, and if you're on a 6, those would penetrate armor. And then his crushing claws, or his jaws, his beak-like jaws, would be good for armor penetration. And this would give me a good way to deal with some of the vehicles that are out there, and some of the armor too that can often get near a tyrant, or in my case, drakes. So I've only got 2. Matter of fact, Coruscant sells them in pairs, and there's 2 different bodies, 2 different heads. It's not a whole lot of variation, but it looks pretty nice. You can mix up, there's like 4 combinations, I guess. But Tyranid Brute is only up to 3 models, and so you really can't do. That's one problem with using the Coruscant Triceratops, is you'd end up with an extra one if you got 2 sets. Went for the 3 guard or Tyrant Guard models. So I leave it at 2. That's all I've got. I don't know if I'm going to go with the 3rd. 2 are usually enough to get my Drake into the mix. Usually I'm using them when I have a close combat oriented Great Worm or the Swarm Lord. And in both cases, I need the protection to make sure I can get it into close combat, and these help ensure that. Now, the next unit that I have are my Raveners. Now, I wish I knew what model these were. I picked these up secondhand. They were already painted up this way, so I can't take credit for the paint job. But they look very similar to the Tamiya. I don't know, I guess how you pronounce it. Raptor, Velociraptors kit, but these are definitely not the same. I've looked at those kits, and these are definitely different. But these reflect fairly well the Ravener stat line. Again, trying to work up from the different types of special abilities they've got, I wanted to make sure I had a way of reflecting some of their special abilities. Now, one of the things they can do is, well, first of all, they are close combat. That's the biggest thing. So there's absolutely no weapons, ranged weapons at all in this. You have to just stick with going after the close combat. Whether you charge in, of course, they are a beast profile, so they're gonna move 12 inches, which is absolutely fantastic. I absolutely love that about them. There's one of the few, what I would call fast Tyranid units, the Revenant is, and so it makes sense that these would be these Velociraptors would be a fast type of slashy attack. You know, they have base attacks of 3, but they have 2 pairs of sighting talons in the stat line. That's base 4 attacks, and so it's 5 on the charge. So there are 3 wounds, which they can take the damage. They're strength 4, toughness 4, and that's pretty normal. And you can have up to 6. You start with 3, but you can have 6 more. So that's a total of 9. That's a vicious unit. I only have these 3 models, though. That was all that was in the collection that they were in, that I bought them out of. But you can do a couple range. There's 3 different ranged out upgrades you can put on. I don't think I'm going to do that, simply because again, just like with, I don't want too many spitting attacks. I don't want too many of those situations where there's some technology that gives the dragon a gun on it. I want that to be special. I want there to be quite a variety of abilities and skill sets across the entire army. So in this case, I'll probably just leave them as is. I don't even think I'll go with rending claws, though probably I could do that, representing the fact that they've got maybe their hind foot has that terrible claw on it. I haven't quite decided on that one. One thing that I could do, because these are a 4-up armor save. Oh, oops, sorry. Is it? No, it's 5-up armor save. Sorry. So they're a light armor, but I was thinking maybe I could use these older cold one units or models. Now, right now, these are actually going to be. I have these. I just made 2 more up. I bought them already painted, so I need to add a couple more. But I figured for these, I could make those ones with the claws, because they have much larger claws on their back leg. So I'll probably make these the Raveners that have the rending claws. So 2 different beasts. These are actually Games Workshop. So if you go to a tournament where they only like to have Games Workshop or Games Workshop majority models that are standing in for something, you'll want to stick with the Cold One dragons or Cold One knights mounts, or the chariot versions of those. If your gaming group doesn't mind non-GW, then going with any type of 1/35 scale Velociraptor model will work. And that's basically what you'll see here for a size. So in a size comparison, there is a regular Imperial Guardsman size scale. They're on a 40mm base. They're a little bigger, and 1/35 scale should pretty much get you in that ballpark. So ought to work out pretty well. So these are my stand-ins for the Raveners. I do like them. I had 5 of the not these cold ones that are for the Dark Elves, but the cold ones that came with for the Saurus Lizardmen, the Saurus Riders. I have 5 of those, and sometimes I take the rider off because I don't have them glued on yet, and I use those 5 as another group of Raveners, because I do like Raveners. The fact that they're beast and they have Deep Strike, that's actually one of their abilities. Granted, they're going to take some damage that first time they come out. They kind of clump together, but they can come out and you can run, since you can't shoot anything normally. That'll space them out, so it'll be a little harder to one-shot the whole group with a blast. And then they're within 12 inches of something they could tear apart very easily. So the way I work the deep strike in is these beasts, typically that version. You know, they basically are ambush predators. They lie in wait along the wherever the prey might be. They blend in with the terrain, and then suddenly, boom, out they come. And now you're not necessarily going to be able to. They won't be able to actually charge when they appear. The opponent will have some reaction time, kind of like the original Jurassic Park when you had that hunter. He saw the Velociraptor come out, peek at him. That's basically the deep strike, and then he wasn't able to get his shot off before he charged in. So that's the way I'm looking at my Reveners. Velociraptors or that type of dinosaur that is an ambush predator. I usually do run them from behind. I don't often deep strike them unless I know I have to get into the opponent's back lines and there's some nice places to hide, like area terrain. Got to give them a 5-up cover save at least, if possible. So there's my some of the other units I've got, some of the more smaller model sizes. And the next one we're going to look at will be some of the larger heavy supports. These are the elites in fast attack. So, all right. Thanks for watching. If, share, like, subscribe. Let me know what you think below. And we'll see you in the next Studio Armor review. Bye-bye.